Shalom. Before I begin this video, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem El Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Also as well, double honors to the apostles and the others of Great Millstone. They continue to rule real well to this very day. That is feeding the fly through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem El Shai. And also as well, Shalom to the whole elect as well, to continue to labor in this work. And that's also giving your due diligence to make your calling, election sure, in faith, in truth, in sincerity, and also in all charity. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled "The Right Sacrifice," or if the Spirit has it to where I title this video, differently or give it a different title. Of course, I'm going to change it, but I'm not going to spend too much time on the video here. I'm just going to make it quick, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai. This video is edifying. So, like the title says, the right sacrifice, or basically this topic is touching up on the thing in which we're involved in right now concerning this truth. We are in a perfect position to not be a part of the physical sacrifice, which is going to be conducted here in the source of America, which is known as Babylon the Great in the Bible. And when I say the physical sacrifice, I'm talking about having to experience being burnt up in the flames of the Lord's fury, which is going to come by way of the thermonuclear missiles. The thing that which we're involved in right now is the spiritual sacrifice, and that is what the Lord is accepting right now, because we all went off, we all sinned, we transgressed. So in the wake of doing that, the Lord requires a sacrifice. The Lord has always required a sacrifice. So that's why when you go into it, if you can receive it, our Lord Yahweh Shai, he had to make a sacrifice too. Why? Because like I mentioned earlier, is that a sacrifice is required if a person were to go off or were to transgress the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai. So that's why Yahweh Shai had to make that sacrifice, because in his past life, if you can receive it, he went off. He transgressed. So not only did he have to do that for himself, but also according to the law, to make that sacrifice, you're supposed to sacrifice for yourself. And this was given to the Levites. Okay, the tribe of Levi, in which through Aaron, you had to, basically they were sacrifice, or he was sacrificed for himself and for the people. So that's the same thing that Yahweh Shai did. He sacrificed for himself and also sacrificed for his people, in which his people are the Israelites, which consist of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay? And since he did that, now we are able to, fully delve into this truth, delve into the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai, and give a proper sacrifice, which is through the spirit. Because the physical sacrifices weren't sufficient. And the reason why is because the nation of Israel, through the Spirit, they still weren't, we still weren't perfect through the physical law, okay? Because we kept going off. But, just to throw this in there, the law wasn't the reason why, we're not perfect. Because, for one thing, the law doesn't make anyone perfect in this time. But the reason why these things happen is because we weren't perfect. Okay? And we weren't able to keep the law perfectly. And even the Apostle Paul said that the law is good, but I am sold under sin. Like the Apostle Paul said, he was sold under sin. And that's the same thing that, same thing that goes on with us. We're sold under sin. So, therefore, a sacrifice is required. And I believe I'm going to title this video as a sacrifice is required. I might title it like that. But I'm going to go ahead and jump to the precepts. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on this video here. This is Romans chapter 12, and this is at verse 1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. See that? So, we are presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice, and it's holy and acceptable unto the Most High. All right? Now, when the scriptures speak about this, that basically means that we have given our lives over to this truth. Okay? And that, now we are presented as a living sacrifice, which is known as, which is holy, and is also acceptable unto the Most High. This is what the Lord is accepting right now. He's accepting the spiritual sacrifice. Okay, which again, like it says here, which is our reasonable service. Okay, so this is a reasonable service, being basically giving ourselves over to this truth and leaving out the ways of this world. This is a reasonable service to the Most High. Okay, because there's nothing in this world that we are able to give to Yahweh Shai that is acceptable. The only thing that we're able to give Yahweh Shai is ourselves. That's it. Which again, like it says here, is acceptable, and it's also our reasonable service. Okay, and just to drive the point home, in verse 2 it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. Okay, so we are no longer conformed to this world, which conform means to take the form of something. Conform is a compound word, which con means with, and form is it's just that, it's form. Okay, so literally it means with form. Okay, and what does it mean to be conformed? Or when the scripture said, "Be not conformed with this world," basically, we are not forming ourselves in the image on the way that this world teaches. Okay, but like it says here, we are transformed by the renewing of our mind. Okay, so that we're able to prove what's good and acceptable and perfect, and also the will of the Most High. Okay, just how Yahushua conducted himself in this time when he was in the flesh. He wasn't conformed to the known world during that but he followed the will of the Most High because he knew the will of the Most High, and he knew what was perfect and acceptable and reasonable within the eyes of the Most High, Yahweh. Okay. But, I'll grab another Slacky. Grab another precept. This is Hebrews chapter 7, verse 27. This is straight to the point. It says, who needed not daily as those high priests to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins and then for the people's, right, which is a part of the law, right, to offer a sacrifice for yourself first, and then you sacrifice for the people, okay, which, that's the spirit, because right now we are making ourselves a spiritual sacrifice for our own sins, okay, and after that's done, then through that same sacrifice, then that's when the whole nation of Israel is going to be forgiven through that same sacrifice. But first it starts with Yahweh Shai, and then on to the elect, okay, the elect of the nation of Israel. So again, it says, who needed not daily as those high priests to offer sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself. All right. So when using the flesh, he never went off. He was perfect in that lifetime. Okay. But again, the reason why he had to do that is because he's paying for the sins of his past lives. Okay. So likewise with us. See, this is what it needs to be to take on the image in the form of Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai knew that in his previous lives that he went off. So likewise with us, we know that we went off. And the scriptures also say that, let's see if I can get it real quick. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 12. It says, who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Okay. And I believe I grabbed the other precept too, not too long ago. All right, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 90, verse 8. It says, thou hast set our iniquities before thee, our secret sins in the light of thy countenance. See, because we have secret sins that we don't know about, that we committed in our previous lives. All right, because we don't know what we did in our previous lives. That's why you have to be on pins and needles in this time of day, because this is the last go around. This is the last lifetime, and we know for a fact that this generation and this lifetime that we live in right now, this is the last go around to get things right, to get our minds right. That's why the prophets are out prophesying, teaching. That's why our prophecies have been speaking loud and clear, because this is the time. This is the appointed time for the Lord to spring into action and to bring into fruition everything that he has spoken about before time, everything that has been written down, now is coming to life. All right. But again, going back to the sacrifice, the sacrifice that we're giving right now is spiritual, because America, reading the scriptures in the book of Isaiah, it tells you that this place is going to be considered as an altar, to where it's going to be, like the scripture say, roughly paraphrases, it's going to be basically filled with the blood of kidneys and goats and rams. And this place that we're standing on right now is going to be a huge altar for the sacrifice. And this is where these people that are here today, they're going to be sacrificed, okay, for what they have done. And because, especially our people, which they had liberty to be able to partake in that sacrifice, but they chose not to. So guess what? The Lord still requires a sacrifice out of them, and which is going to be done by way of them being put to death. Okay? They got to go through the physical sacrifice, which is, again, is that fire. Okay? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close down on that note. The Lord's will is going to find to the elect for the nation of Israel. Until next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone, and continue to over it this very day. Also, Shalom, peace and safety and salutations to the whole elect. Let's continue to labor this work and also do labor. Be sure forth to do just to make it calm, election sure, in faith, and truth, sincerity, and all charity. With that, let's Shalom.